Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
Good morning, happy Groundhog Day. Welcome to February the 2nd, and just like in the movie Groundhog Day, I swear I've heard this before. That's what we're talking about today. Little-known covers when it comes to country music. Now, there have been many great cover songs over the years. Some you know were covers because the first version was super popular, but sometimes somebody takes a song that maybe wasn't a big hit, turns it into a big hit of their own, and nobody realizes that somebody else actually recorded that first. That's what we're going to talk about today, so let's get to it. Top 5 little-known covers in country music. At number 5, we kick things off with Chris Stapleton, and a huge hit for him back in 2015, his version of Tennessee Whiskey, a great country song. Chris does it so well, and a lot of people know that it was George Jones's big hit back in 1983. He had a huge hit with Tennessee Whiskey, but his version was a cover as well. The first version of Tennessee Whiskey, it was written and recorded in 1981 by David Allan Coe. So David Allan Coe is the start of this chain, but Tennessee Whiskey, 3 great versions from 3 legends. That's number 5. Number 4, we got Alan Jackson, who had a huge hit in 1994 with Summertime Blues, one of the many number 1 hits in Alan's career. Now, a lot of people knowing that Eddie Cochran is the original star of Summertime Blues, a rockabilly artist from the late 50s who unfortunately passed away way too young. He had a huge hit with Summertime Blues in 1958, but Alan Jackson is not the only person to cover Summertime Blues. The Beach Boys had a version of it in 1962. The Who released a version in 1970, and it has been a staple of their live act all throughout the 70s. Also in 1970, T-Rex released a version of Summertime Blues, one of the first great rock and roll kind of sounding songs from Eddie Cochran, and it lived on all throughout the 60s and 70s, and Alan Jackson bringing it back to prominence in 1994 as well. Summertime Blues, that's number 4. At number 3, we've got a great Southern Gothic kind of song, Fancy, by Reba McEntire. She had a huge hit with this one in 1991, did an absolutely tremendous music video with it as well, but it is not Reba's song originally. This one dates back to 1969, and the queen of that Southern Gothic storytelling kind of song, it is Bobbie Gentry, who you may remember as well from the Ballad of Billy Joe. She had a great hit with that one, but Fancy was her song, and she did such a great version of it from 1969. Fancy, that comes in at number 3. At number 2, when it comes to signature songs in country music, if I say Glen Campbell, I would hazard to say that at least 90% of you would say Rhinestone Cowboy. And yes, Glen Campbell made that song his own, but it was not his to begin with. Larry Weiss did the first version of that one in 1974. Glen really liked it, decided to do a version in 1975, and it absolutely took off. It was one of the biggest hits of his career, and it's been covered again. We had George Canyon here in Alberta release a fantastic version of it as well when he did a great cover album, and Rhinestone Cowboy continues to be a country classic, but it was Larry Weiss first in 1974. That's at number 2. At number 1 for me, sometimes a song just needs to find the right person. And this one started in 1991 by the Marcy Brothers. They didn't quite have that good a handle on it. It didn't turn into a big hit for them, so they were fine with somebody else recording a version of it the very next year. And in 1992, Billy Ray Cyrus took Achy, Breaky Heart to the top of the charts. It absolutely unloaded on the country music world, shot Billy Ray to fame, and was one of the biggest songs of 1992. Yes, Achy, Breaky Heart is a cover song, and not a lot of people know that. It is not a Billy Ray Cyrus tune. It is a cover of a Marcy Brothers tune, and somewhere the Marcy Brothers are going, how did that not happen for us? But, you know, sometimes it just takes a certain act to get that song right, and I think Billy Ray Cyrus was the right guy at the right time, and that song absolutely exploded. It's a divisive tune, I know. Half of country music fans absolutely love it. Half of country music fans absolutely hate it. There's really no middle ground with Achy Breaky Heart, and as someone who grew up on early 90s country, I absolutely love that song. Achy Breaky Heart, that's number 1 in our little known covers Top 5 Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back again next week.